So we were gonna put a fixed fan, you know, this thing right here, onto it. But then we got a hold of a slightly used big fan that's reversible. Yeah, that means you can push the air out the front, or you can pull it in, depending on what you want to do, which is going to be sweet. Because if you're getting a bunch of chaff and stuff in the like on the radiator, or dust, you flip it around, it'll blow it out. So what I got to do is I got to make a bolt pattern that'll match this, that matches that. So I'm going to go over here to the lathe, and I got a chunk of steel that I can cut out. I'm going to cut this thing out. It'll be perfect. This is what does bolt up to that radiator or that engine. So I'll use this as a template for the bolt pattern, and yeah, I'll work my magic. That's all that matters. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about that fan. It was a pretty good deal. We couldn't pass it up. So yeah, that's gonna be awesome.
Okay, so the engine
Hold on 1 second.
frame are level. Hey, I'm talking. We'll put the camera down. This is getting old. Got the engine all squared up in here, ground down both sides of the old paint and primer, and I think we're ready to glue all this up right there and right there. And when that's done, technically we can pull the hoist off and the engine and transmission can be sitting by themselves in this factory. We might put a couple more bolts in the transmission bell housing, but other than that, that'll be nice. Get that hoist out of there, and then we can start the next process of mocking up stuff. So let's get to welding. All right, that is in there. That was not easy welding, but we got it. So technically, I should be able to take this hoist down. She is suspended in the tractor. Not permanently. Like I said, this is coming out eventually, but for now, it's gonna sit there for a bit. Sweet. There should be. Look at that thing. Anchored there and there. And then eventually there'll be an engine mount here and here on the bell housing. So we'll get to that soon. But for now, we're in. This has been a fun project. Hope you guys are enjoying it as much as we have. It's a lot of work. We got a long row ahead of us. I don't know if we're gonna get it done in time for spring seeding, but we're gonna push hard and try. This old 700 horsepower Cummins was talking to me earlier and I was thinking, since it's 700 horsepower, we're about to cross 600,000 subscribers. Wouldn't it make sense to hit 700,000 subscribers when this thing's running? Yeah, you guys want to help me out with that? I think do it for the engine. He wants 700. Big 700 number on it would be great. So let's get to 700,000 subscribers. So smash the subscribe button. Let's get to work. Let's get this tractor built, and let's put it in the field and make it earn its keep. Because that's the plan. We're not building this thing for a show tractor. This thing's going to work. And then my kids are gonna drive it and they're gonna make it work. And then hopefully their kids and their kids until we have like hover tractors and stuff, so.
After machining it down, what I figured out I was gonna do is this diameter right here fits perfectly on the engine, so it centers it. I got a little lip here, and then it steps down and then steps down again. And the reason why I have that, you're probably like, well, that's kind of funky, is this plate here is what's gonna bolt to the engine. You'll slide this in, and it's gonna become flush, as you can tell, perfect fit. And then I gotta drill all the holes, bolt it up to the engine, and I'll weld this part right here, so now it can't move. The next part I'll do is I'll build the flange for the fan, and then that'll slide on here, and then we'll weld it on the top. This here is one of the spacers I had, so I cut it down just a little bit to slide this on top. So now, I've got my little template to where the holes need to go. Let's drill them and then get that ready to weld up. Oh yeah, that's not moving. Let's weld it. So one of the things I did is I figured out the distance between the outside to the center of the hole, and I made a ring with a lathe so I could just see a little groove right there. That's where the center of the bolts need to go. And then what's frustrating is they didn't make these bolt holes the same all the way around. There's 9, so it's kind of an odd number. So what I end up doing is taking the distance of each bolt hole, and I just take the caliper and just go around and just keep making that same amount of bolt holes all the way around. And so far it looks like it's working, because they're all lined up. So I'm going to drill every single one of those holes, and we'll see if it can fit. I hope it works, because A lot of work to do that. And then, when those are drilled, I will take these two pieces, weld them together, and we have a fan that's on that bud. That's really cool, that you can flip and go, whoo! You know, cool things like that. So yeah, let's drill those holes. There we go. So I welded the inside. Hang on. It's hot. All right, let's go put this thing on here and see what it looks like. All right. It is hot. There we have it. And that thing is going on to that thing. All right, that is not what I was planning on doing today, but when that fan happened to present itself, we couldn't pass up the deal, so made changes, and we made it work. Now that the fan bracket's made, we can stick that on here, and then we can cut this piece here out, leave a little bit on the bottom, figure out where I need to put the radiator. That's the next step. Or we split the tractor in half. Too many things to decide what to do. Like what to pick? I don't know. We'll pick something. All right, let's figure out something else.
The brother had to take off, so it's just me in the shop right now. I've been grinding and grinding and grinding and grinding and grinding and some more grinding and lots more grinding. And I'm gonna probably have to come back with a welder a little bit, fill in a couple low spots and grind it some more. Or we could use Bondo. No one would ever know. You guys wouldn't tell anybody. But I want to talk about something we're going to do here. This is another big job, and we need this done. For one, we can see visually that it needs done, and two, it'd be nice just to start fresh, and that is the hinge, or I guess pivot point on this tractor. So this Series 2 tractor, Big Buds, and Series 1s, including the Wagners previously before that, which was like the ancestor of Big Buds, they use a brass bushing inside here, and the whole back axle, this whole entire part here, pivots back and forth on this joint here. It's got one grease zerk, we're gonna add more. But anyways, and then the pivot, the tractor articulates here and pivots here. And it works really good. But what happens with these, this is a weak point, is that bushing eventually gets wore, and then this starts to lean in, and the front here wears into this plate, and eventually it'll wear through the bushing and into the big pin that they've got, which is attached to this massive chunk of iron that's bolted to this divider box, the chain case. And so we need to take this apart because it was leaning. It could just be the nut needed to tighten up, but we're gonna take it apart anyways and look at it. So we gotta split the tractor in half. How you do that? I've never done this before. My dad did it like 20 some years ago, 30 years ago. I don't know, it was probably 30 years ago actually. It's been a while. And he replaced it on one of the other buds, and it's been great ever since. We don't put enough hours on these machines to pull hard enough to really wear them out like that. But what you gotta do is you gotta take, there's a big U-bolt here, and that holds this nut. And that nut is what holds the tension and keeps this half of the tractor tight against that half of the tractor. So, gotta loosen this U-bolt up, take these two nuts off, U-bolt off. Then, I don't know for sure if this bracket needs to come off that holds the U-bolt. I think it does, so probably pull that off too. And then the next step is you gotta somehow turn this nut and back it off, take that off. Then when all that's off, technically, this half the tractor can slide back from that half. I've got a big jack in the center of this unit on the very bottom of the floor there, holding all this up, so it's like a tricycle. So that's fine, that's not going anywhere. I got a big stand under this corner, a big stand under this corner. The weight of this back half wants to lean towards the middle of the tractor, so all the weight's on this end mainly. So we're gonna have to worry much about back here, but I'm hoping those stands will slide with this as we pull it back across the floor. In fact, I might take a chain and wrap it around my stand. It looks like that right there that I made. on both ends, and then hook it to probably the skid steer or whatever we're pulling this with. So that way it slides it with this unit. We'll just slowly work it back far enough till we get a point where we can get room in here to work and find out, does that bushing need replaced? I think we can make one. I found a website that sells bushings I think is the right size, but I won't know until we get it out to get measurements and see what it looks like and everything. So I got the massive Milwaukee impact here, 1-inch impact, some WD-40. We're gonna take those off. And then here, I don't know, I just quickly rigged up a tool. So I drilled holes, put 4 bolts through at the right space into these indents on this nut, and you'll put that on there and beat it with a maul. This came off this bud, so it only makes sense to use part of the bud to take the bud apart and back that nut off. I'm by myself, so I don't think I'm gonna be able to get very far, but let's get started. Got battery. Oh yeah, lots of it. Oh, I love this impact. This thing is awesome. I bet that is rusty. Something fierce. Okay. So, how to get that U-bolt down without destroying it? I can always replace a nut. So we're gonna sacrifice the nuts. I'm gonna thread them back on a ways, and I can beat on the nut and it won't destroy the threads, because these are, well actually, are these fine thread? Yeah, those might be. I might have to be careful. These might be fine thread. If they are, I do not have a nut that can replace that. So I'll take a look at that, but otherwise I'll put a board here in a maul. Let's beat on it a little bit and see if we can get this thing to break loose. I'm really skeptical. All right, see how long that lasts. Yeah, it's gonna break the next hit. Let's try this side. Let's get a new one. Okay. Put this right. There we go. I think it did. It did. Loosened up. Sweet. Okay, we're in business. That wasn't as fused as I thought it would be. I was figuring all these years. Locking washers busted. Figured all these years that it'd be fused in there. And all this U-bolt does is keep that nut from turning. It's just puts tension on it. There might be a little bit of structural integrity to it. Okay. That U-bolt is free. It's just so much tight on that nut. I still kind of think I gotta take this off. In fact, I know I do. That's what I thought. All right, we're free. There we go. A nice big fat chunk iron there. Don't scratch the paint. All right, there's our nut. So, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to go any further than this with just me today. I'll try, but I think it's gonna take more than something to hold the tool here while everyone hits with the hammer, and I'm currently not strong enough with 2 arms to do that myself, but let's try it. Cooperate or what? I need a piece of wood I can jam in here. This is a 1/2-inch chunk iron, so just a little bit too wide right here. Not quite fitting in the gap. I might have to drill a hole out and move it down a little bit and tighten it back up. Okay, let's try it again. This is Okay, there. Well, not all the bolts are lining up perfect in the holes, but I think it's gonna work. So I'm gonna give this a whack. We'll see what happens here. It's probably just gonna come flying apart, but why not? Let's just do it. Okay, the nut turn, or did it just pop out of the holes? It popped out. I'm gonna have to work on those two again. Yeah, the gap is just a little bit too wide. I gotta fix this. All right, let's try it again. Did some more modifications. I think we'll be able to get it to squeeze together here. Get the bottoms in. Can I pry this top in? Now there's tension holding my homemade tool to the nut. All the bolts are in there great. Let's get a whack at it and see what happens here. All right. It's turning. This isn't gonna do anything, but you know what? Makes me feel good. Ah, yeah. Feeling great now. Okay, now I gotta reposition it. So I gotta take all the stuff I just wedged in here. I gotta get out now. Okay, let's reposition this nut. I'm gonna tighten these all up. Some of these have dirt packed in them, and that's why these holes. Tried to clean them out, but I don't think I cleaned them out as well as I should have. All right, it's tighting. Let's hit it. Oh, it's gonna take a while. Bending my little bolts up on here. They're getting mangled. But I've gotten to turn 3/4 of a turn. That's progress. So I think I'm gonna call it. I'll pick this up tomorrow. Now I know I gotta process some later, and then I'll tackle this. So, all right, we'll get back to this in a minute.